We are looking at our fourth of these little videos about the shanty towns when they were building the railroad. This time we're going to look at McGrann's section. This was section 31. That's the 31st mile out from Pittsburgh. There were two McGranns, father and son. And this is where they had their mile to build. This is the railroad as seen from the sky at this point. And when they originally built it, it did not go straight. It went in a line like this. The rule of thumb building a railroad was that you tried to build it on the cheap, and then when the money started coming in, then you straightened it out and did all the things that you should have done at the beginning, but you didn't have the money to do. Now this guy is showing you where the old roundabout tunnel was. It turns out that there was a tunnel out there in the original railroad. The railroad as it goes now went like this into Greensburg. But as it was originally built, they tried to avoid some of the heavier, bigger obstacles. And in doing that, they routed it in this circuitous way. And what this guy shows you is that 450-foot long tunnel. This is how a tunnel was begun by the guys. Not a very high-tech process. These are from some of the railroads mapping, showing McGrann section from here out to here. And this was the original roundabout tunnel. There were two of them, be aware. That was the original. This is the original tunnel, 450 feet long. They were advertising locally to try to get brick to line the tunnel. This here shows the second roundabout tunnel, which was maybe remembered by some people. This was the first roundabout tunnel out this way. This is the shanty town where the guys worked when they were building it. It was built on something of a slope because it was rather hilly out that way. The shanty town was about 55 guys, mostly immigrant Irish. There was a foreman who was in charge. This one actually had a couple people who were hired as cooks. And living nearby were some of the other guys in independent households because some of them had family with them, kids and wives. And the Kaler household, the Kaler farm, put up one of the bunch, about 5 of the guys. And then 5 of the other ones lived in another place. This is what the guys did when they went to work. Hard work. You can see they were terracing it back, building a cut. And we did talk about how some of the guys would get into trouble when these things were going on, but it wasn't always the workers who got into trouble. This time we see some of the higher ups. Here's Richard McGrann Jr., one of the contractors, and here is one of the engineers, Jeffries. The contractors were not hired by the railroad, but the engineers were hired by the railroad, and they were overseeing making sure that the project got done right. And one day at work in October of 1852, these two guys had a big difference of opinion. And after work, McGrann came looking for Jeffries at where he lived. That was the Kettering Hotel uptown. And he beat the crap out of him with a horsehide whip. And fortunately for Jeffries, there were witnesses, and he took it to court. And since there were witnesses, McGrann had very little choice but to pay the $10 fine. This is where it happened. At the corner of Main Street and Otterman Street, uptown. This old hotel was there for a lot of times. Went by the name Kettering, and I believe Null also had the name. And that's what we're looking at, McGrann section 31. And this will be enough until later. And we'll see you again next time for McCausland's section.